Welcome, my brother, to the Men's Sexual Mastery Foundations course. My name is Ben Timby,
My name is Ian Hawks.
and we are honored you are here. Today, we're going to be talking about the multi-orgasmic man. Some of you may be privy to this. Some of you may be aware if you found your way to this recording of men's ability to have multiple non-ejaculatory orgasms, but most of us never received this information. This is the sex education we never received. And we can tell you that every man has this capacity, has this potential. So, what if we were to tell you that there was an ancient, time tested scientific approach to connecting every man with this potential, with this ability to master our sexual energy, to have these full body, non ejaculatory internal orgasms, to maximizing our sexual performance and becoming the most masterful lovers we can be? Got good news for you, and that's that there is such a system, and it's been around for thousands of years, and this system is now available to you, to all of us.
Yes, this is where the ancient meets the modern. Here at Men's Sexual Mastery, we are combining modern behavioral neuroscience with these ancient tantric and Taoist practices, combining them into a powerful, holistic system that is designed to guide you and every man into your sexual potential. So welcome to this foundations training. We're going to do the best we can in the short time we have here today to provide you with the basics that will allow you to start to build your capacity to become a multi-orgasmic man, or if you're already on that path, to propel yourself further and to begin to really experience the cascading benefits that trickle into every aspect of our life when we are embodying this. A little bit about us here at MSM. We are a men's sexual education community dedicated to awakening, empowering, and aligning you and every brother into your sexual potential.
Let's go. Let's go, brothers. Let's dive straight into it, guys. So let's get real with ourselves about the sex education we received or didn't receive, actually. For most of us, we received nothing more than some grade school anatomy and porn, and maybe a little sprinkle of religious conditioning. I know I had that. And in the absence of any real sex education, many of us face a lot of challenges sexually. These can include porn addiction, compulsive behavior, performance anxiety, ED, premature ejaculations, guilt and shame and self-judgment, numbness, inability to feel deep pleasure. Can have difficulty leading ourselves or a partner in the sexual space, or disconnection and dissociation from sex. And the biggest challenge in all this is that we're having to figure this stuff out alone.
Yeah, I know I was trying to figure this out on my own for decades before I finally came across these ancient teachings and these ancient sexual technologies. So what we're able to unlock when we tune into and practice the techniques that Ben and I are bringing through in the Men's Sexual Mastery Training Program is we begin to unlock the ability to become a multi-orgasmic man. Separating orgasm from ejaculation, we're able to experience hours of non-ejaculatory orgasmic bliss while making love or while stimulating ourselves. We can last for hours in bed as long as we want. Commanding sexual energy without suppression or shame. So, this is about really bringing our sexual potential into the light rather than stuffing it down and repressing it. Finding a way to alchemize that into a beautiful thing to offer to the world and to empower ourselves. We're replacing porn with mind-blowing sexual experiences. Like there will be so much fulfillment in your life with these practices. Porn and other compulsory behaviors won't even have a place anymore. They just naturally get filled with better, more life-affirming, positive practices.
Can I hop in here, Hawks, and just add that that was me? Like I struggle with porn addiction for since I was 10 years old, fighting it and battling it with I just kept ending up back at it, again. And it wasn't until like you, I came across this stuff that it ended up replacing that. So yeah, totally. I love that. That's one of my favorite points to highlight.
Yes, and this is really common. You can check out testimonials on the YouTube channel or on our website. This is a natural phenomena that takes place when we actually start to fill ourselves up with the practices and the habits that really are in alignment with us. So, furthermore, we can attract and deepen into magnetic partnerships. So, whether you are single, seeking out your ideal partner, or if you're already in relationship, these practices will massively help you regardless of where you're at. When we're really confident and capable in the bedroom, we exude that confidence. We exude clarity and grounded leadership in all aspects of life. So, this is really a crucial step on the path of expanding our consciousness as men. If you have found your way to this video, it is not a coincidence. There is something within you that understands and knows that this is part of your journey as well. So, we're really excited to walk this path with you.
Yeah, we like to say what's awakening in you is awakening in me, brother. That's what's bringing us all together in this age to bring about these technologies to awaken our fullness as men. That's what this path is all about. So, yeah, let's dive straight into it. We're going to cover some of the foundations of just some of the key principles and concepts and practices to just give you a foundation to move forward with in tapping into this potential today. So, one thing we want to cover before we dive fully into this is that for many of us who are struggling with these challenges sexually, whether it's porn addiction, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, whatever it is that you're struggling with, performance anxiety, what we resist persists, right? And there's this quote we like to reference here by Buckminster Fuller. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And this is something we were alluding to earlier, talking about replacing porn with mind-blowing sexual experiences with or without a partner. This is rendering the old systems that we've been fighting obsolete by bringing in something that just outperforms it, that actually gives us more pleasure. And that's actually what we're seeking in these things, right? So one of my teachers uses this analogy, and we love teaching this in MSM of a cup that's half full. So if you have a half full cup and you're trying to fill that cup, that glass of water, you don't focus on scooping the air out, trying to get rid of what you don't want. Instead, he says you just take some water and you fill the cup with water, fill it with more of what you do want, and naturally that will displace the air, displace what you don't want. So one of the beautiful byproducts of this process of filling our cups is these internal orgasmic states. And this is a really powerful principle we're dropping right here. This is a potent code, brothers. Becoming a multi-orgasmic man is the byproduct of the accumulation of energy. So if we think of our sexual capacity like this cup or like a bowl, but let's say, a glass of water that we're filling up, it's by filling this glass, and just the byproduct of it overflowing is these multi-orgasmic experiences. So one of the things we get into in the beginning of our trainings and what we're going to touch base on here is starting with, if we're a glass that's filling up with water, we have to start with where we're leaking water first, because we can be trying to fill the glass with all the practices, with all the tools and things to generate the sexual energy. But if it's coming right out the bottom, there's no point in building up the sexual energy, right? So with a lot of guys, there are many ways you can be leaking sexual energy, but by and large, the most common one and the biggest one is losing your semen, is ejaculating often. So we're going to get into a little reframe here. And again, many of you may already be familiar with these concepts. We just want to sync up all the brothers to make sure we're all on the same page. We're going to be diving a lot deeper here. So hang on if you're already familiar with this. In traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic lineages, Taoism, Tantra, our semen is considered our life force energy. And if you stop and think about the power of our semen, this energy, that this little bit of fluid inside of us that has the capacity to create another human being, there's nothing more creator-like, there's nothing more divine or God-like than that fluid within us. And this is a complete reframe from a lot of what we've been taught. I know for me, especially coming from a conservative Christian upbringing, being taught that our sexual energy is actually our most divine, sacred energy is a complete flip. And this is what was understood in a lot of these ancient civilizations. You can see some quotes here from different yogis and spiritual teachers talking about the values of semen and how it is crucial to our development as men.
Right. For that, I'm gonna turn my light on here. I'm noticing some light coming in behind me. Let's talk about some of the benefits of semen retention. So, as Ben has mentioned, this is likely not a new concept for you. If it is, great. Just bear with us here. There are a whole range of benefits, and we're not going to list all of them, but increased energy and vitality. These are things that we'll experience as men when we go through periods of holding on to our seed for longer durations than we may have typically been modeling. Higher testosterone and drive. So there's a study that we've linked at the bottom of the page here that showed a marked increase in testosterone levels in men after 7 days of abstinence. And there's increased motivation and ambition and confidence and strength that comes from this increase in testosterone, as well as the increase in our own feelings of inner coherence and self-mastery. Greater sexual control, the ability to last longer, the ability to have multiple orgasms, and increased pleasure during lovemaking. These are all potential benefits of semen retention if you take it the step further that we're introducing in the following slides. Deeper intimacy and stronger, healthier relationships. This is huge. Any men out there in relationship, if you have not yet entered a practice of withholding your ejaculation during lovemaking sessions, not all of the time necessarily, but every once in a while. This is a powerful way to show your partner that you are there for more than just the ejaculation at the end of a lovemaking session. You are there to enjoy every moment along the way. And this really serves to build intense love and trust in the relationship. And as we mentioned, there's actually no sacrifice of our own pleasure as men when we really learn to build our capacity and the potential within us to become multi-orgasmic men. The ejaculation ends up becoming not even very desirable.
And it
Uh,
totally shifts the whole dynamic when we're out of the porn reenacting and we're actually just entering the space without an objective of ejaculating. Many women have never even experienced a man like that, and suddenly it's all about her pleasure and how deep can we take her and how long can we hang on to the ride, and it's the most fun game of all time.
mhm. Yes, this is, as Ben was saying, this is something that many women will have never experienced before in their life. And if you can be the one to bring that to her, it will create a bond and a trust and a reverence that really can't be experienced in other ways. So there's a lot more that we can get into here and that you will experience firsthand in the course, but I'll leave with a little disclaimer that there are some dangers and risks around semen retention. We are playing with fire here. We're building up the yang energy in our body, which is associated with the fire element. These are practices that can massively enhance our lives, and they can also cause some dysregulation if we're not using them alongside the technologies and the tools and the practices that we share in our course and that are available through these ancient lineages. And so what's really important is that if you choose to engage in these practices, you do so from an informed place and you have some support from people who have been along the path for a little while longer and can help guide you in a good way. And that's what we're here to do. So we have a reframe within men's sexual mastery where we use the term semen intention rather than semen retention. And the reason for this is the word retention, it has some connotations of really retaining or repressing or stuffing that sexual energy down. And this is not our approach. We do not take the approach that ejaculation is bad or wrong. What we are inviting is a shift in the cadence, a shift in the relationship with our ejaculation as men, coming into a more harmonious relationship, one that syncs up with the natural rhythms of nature. coming back to semen retention, you might be familiar with NoFap or No Nut November. These are some communities that have formed in the modern day around semen retention practices. These communities, however, don't tend to speak to the other practices that allow us to actually circulate and direct sexual energy within our systems in a really sustainable, life-affirming, vitality-enhancing way. The semen retention practices can be a helpful reset along the path to sexual mastery, but in our opinion, it really neglects the healing and transformational powers of sexual energy. We, in our program, invite and encourage sustainable, empowering, pleasureful, ancient approaches to living harmoniously with our sexual energy. And as we've mentioned before, these new patterns that we develop replace the old dysfunctional sexual patterns or compulsive behaviors, and they really serve to empower and strengthen and enrich one's life. There's a lot more I could go into here, but I'll leave with this one last note about muscle atrophy. Abstinence, as I mentioned, it can be a helpful reset. However, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so we know this age-old phrase, and it's referring to that atrophy of muscles that happens if we don't use them. And so taking this approach of semen intention, where we're working with practices that actually allow us to engage with our sexuality and be in lovemaking sessions for hours on end. And all of these practices are really serving to strengthen and enhance our sexual power and our sexual muscles and make us far superior lovers, which for those of us who choose to engage in sex and sexual activities in our life is the way.
Yeah, let's
And
go.
yeah, let's go. One last thing I'll pepper in here is these recommended minimums. This comes from the Taoist tradition. So we're offering these as invitations into finding a harmonious ejaculation period for you, yourself. These recommended minimums are referring to the number of days between an ejaculation for men based on our age. And this comes from the Taoist sages who studied the natural rhythms and flows of nature for thousands of years, taking a very scientific approach to how to be in harmonious relationship with the world around us. And these are some baseline kind of minimum recommendations that have come from the Taoist traditions. So if you're in your teens or 20s, it's recommended you wait at least 4 days between your ejaculations. If you're in your 30s, at least 8 days between ejaculations, and so on. You can refer to the table there. Another thing that's important to note is these are minimums. This isn't necessarily what's going to be the best for you, but this is a place that any man, no matter where you are on your path with these practices or your cultivation, these are accessible durations to wait between ejaculations. And if you'd like to experience some of the even greater benefits that can come from longer periods in between, it really requires the cultivation of practices and the ability to circulate this energy within our bodies. And that's what we're offering in the program.
Yeah. Speaking of practices, what we're going to do here, brothers, is shift gears for a moment into guided practice. So I invite us all to see if you can find a standing position nearby you. I'm going to switch into speaker mode here. And I'm going to quickly adjust. Right. And these practices, this is just going to be a quick little guide into a way of tapping into some of this internal orgasmic energy. So in a lot of the ancient traditional Chinese medicine approaches and in Taoism and in Ayurvedic lineages and in tantric lineages, there's this idea, like we've talked about, of life force energy that's moving through our bodies. And this is like an electromagnetic energy, moving through our fascia. And you're going to get to experience a little bit of this in these practices. So we're going to start just by placing the feet just about hip width apart, firmly planted in the earth. And we're going to bend the knees just slightly. And we're going to take a big inhalation, placing the hands on the belly, just below the belly button, one hand over the other. Close the eyes and take a big inhale, opening up the belly, pressing the hands out with the belly. Nice big open belly. And on the exhale, make a sigh. Oh, and I mean it. A lot of us keep our throats closed off, but this really helps move the energy out of our internal systems. So big inhale, expanding that belly. Exhale, sigh. Oh. Another big inhale, expanding the belly. And letting out with a sigh. Ah. And we're gonna, what I like to call this is playing a game. We're gonna play a game here where you stay in deep circular breathing. So continuing to breathe into the belly, pushing the hands out in a nice relaxed way. Big breath in, exhale with a sigh. Ah. This is a practice that we're programming new neural pathways. Continuing to breathe into that lower belly. Stay with your breath, stay in that focus. We're programming ourselves in these practices to get into a default state of breath, of autonomic nervous system regulation, creating new neural pathways. Again, breathing into the lower belly, letting out a sigh. Most of the time in our day-to-day life, we're breathing into the chest, right? We're breathing shallow breaths. In this practice, we're continuing to breathe, so stay with your breath deep into the belly. And most of the time, we're not letting out sighs, right? If you're in a sexual space, you're often not letting out sounds. This can be a great way to move energy out of the body, especially sexual energy when we're right at the edge of ejaculation. So again, continuing to come back to this deep belly breathing, big old breaths in through the nose, expanding that belly, sighing on the exhale. I'm going to invite you now, you just place your hands by your sides, continuing to breathe into the lower belly. With this relaxed focus, again, big breath, biggest breath you've had all week. Letting out a sigh. Okay, scanning the body with every breath, noticing any tension in the body or the mind. Breathing it in, sighing it out. Again, just staying in this circular breath, playing this game of seeing if you can stay in this relaxed focus where we're releasing tension. This is just a game. Anytime your mind drifts, just keep coming back. Circular breath. Big breaths into the belly. Sighs on the exhale. All right, now we're going to turn up the volume a little bit. I'm going to invite you to stay in that deep belly breathing. Big inhales, sign on the exhales, and just start bouncing up and down a little bit. Start shrugging your shoulders, start shaking your hands while staying in this breath. Big inhales, sign on the exhales. While you're shaking your body, okay? Start to bounce up and down on your heels. Listen to your body. If you have any medical issues, again, just we don't want to claim any liability here. Just you're responsible for your own practice here. Big belly breaths in. Sigh on those exhales. All right, we're going to start turning it up. Start bouncing more, shaking those hands, shaking those arms. Big breaths in, sigh on those exhales. Noticing where you're holding tension in your body. Breathing into your shoulders, your face, your jaw, your butt cheeks, anywhere you're holding tension, sigh it out, shake it out. Yeah. Let's pick up the volume a little bit more. Keep breathing in, keep sighing, shaking harder, right up to your head. See if you can keep relaxing layers of tension in the body and the mind as you continue breathing deep into the belly. This is one of the quickest ways in a lot of these traditional practices to open up the energetic meridians, to releasing tension from the body, to detoxing, opening up the moving lymphatic fluid. Okay, continuing 3 more big breaths. Take it all the way. Shake like you got dust on your body. Big breaths. Sign on that exhale. See how loud you can get. You can put out your tongue as well on those exhales. Get primal. Big inhales. Tongue out. All right, let's do one final breath. Shake with all you got. Shake, big breath. Let it out. All right, come into a standing position, eyes closed, back where we started. Big, deep belly breaths, just like we started. Sign on that exhale. Noticing that energy. Many of you may be feeling buzzing or electricity, energy moving throughout the body. Keep staying in that breath. Relaxed breathing, feeling the sensations, the whole body buzzing, the hands especially for many of us are a great gateway. Just stay with the sensations, breathing. On your next inhale, bring a smile to your face. Big inhale with a smile. Notice any subtle shift. Sigh on that exhale. That smile. If you notice there's a part of you that is resisting smiling, I invite you to smile at that. So keep staying in your belly breathing, smile at that part of you that might be resisting. And just see if you can feel anything. Any shift there. Bringing a light smile to the face and just really meaning it. Why the fuck not? Why not just smile? Okay, staying in the belly breath. Now imagine that smile's on a light switch. And now turn off the light switch as you stay in your breath. Everything else stays the same. Deep belly breath. Exhaling with a sigh, but just noticing no smile. Put that light switch back on, smile. Everything else stays the same. Just notice the subtle shift in your body, your felt sense, flipping on and off that light switch for a few more breaths, feeling that contrast. Sinking into your feet. Staying in that deep belly breath, that relaxed focus, playing this game of seeing if you can stay focused now. Now keep that smile on. We're going to keep breathing into the lower belly. Now smiling into any tension in the body and the mind, scanning the body, exhaling with a sigh, letting it all sink out through the feet. Letting the shoulders soften, the face soften, the jaw, the butt cheeks, any clenching in the body. Continuing to scan the body with every breath, smiling into any tension in the body and the mind. Sighing it out with a smile, sinking into the feet. Just giving yourself this one moment to just fully relax, almost like you could fall asleep standing up. If you're leaning back or forward, if you can find that sweet spot where you're perfectly balanced. Again, nice relaxed focus, staying with the devotion of the breath, we like to say. Breathing deep into the lower belly, deep into the sexual center, pelvic floor. Smiling any tension, breathing in, sighing it out. Now we're just going to bring in one more tool. What we like to do in our training and what we're giving you right now is just a little taste of a bigger series of practices that we call the activation sequence and some others here, but we're stacking basically different practices. So continue to stay in your belly breathing, stay in the smile, sighing it out, relaxing. And we're building a little foundation here of starting with the breath. Starting with this deep circular breathing, then we're adding on top of that, we're stacking the smile on top of that. Now you feel those two together. Now we're going to add 1/3 layer on top of that, another stack. And with your hand, I'm going to invite you to, you can spread your legs open a little bit wider, and we're going to place our hand in our taint, or in the perineum, as it's known, between your balls and your anus. We're just placing our hands here to feel into this area, this region. Some of you may be really familiar with this region, but this is what's considered to be the sexual pump of our bodies. What I'm going to have you do is, as you inhale, we're going to slowly breathe down into this area, almost like you're breathing down into your taint and your finger. And as you exhale, imagine that you're peeing and then pull up on it like you're stopping peeing. Okay, so imagine that you're peeing, not peeing. Peeing, stopping peeing, like you're peeing on a tree and a cop is catching you and you have to suddenly stop. You feel that on your finger? Do you feel that little contraction, that movement? It's almost like you're pulling up from your anus. Okay, so that's what's called a Kegel. Every time we pull up on that, we're contracting the perineum, okay? And this is something we use in a lot of our trainings, but just to get guys all synced up with how to do a Kegel, it's basically you just pull up on that, like you're stopping peeing, okay? So you can drop your hands back down by your sides. We're going to go back into our breath. Deep into the belly, big breaths. Smile on the face. Exhale with a sigh. And on the next breath, we're going to scan the body for any tension. Scan the mind for any tension. Smiling into it, breathing into it. Sighing it out. And on our next breath, I invite you to breathe down into your balls. Imagine your balls are expanding like balloons as you inhale, smiling down into your balloon balls. And as you exhale, lightly squeeze your perineum. Do a slight Kegel, like 20%. maybe 10-20%, lightly. Ooh, make that sigh. Oh, relax. Keep everything in your body relaxed. Inhaling again, expanding your balls like balloons, breathing down into your lower belly. Big inhale, relaxed breath. And on the exhale, lightly squeeze that perineum. Light Kegel. Oh, smile on the face. Oh. As you hold your awareness, as you synchronize your breath, again, inhaling, expanding the balls. Exhaling, lightly squeezing the perineum as you stay in this area, synchronizing your breath. There's a saying in a lot of Qigong and in a lot of the Taoist arts that Qi flows where the mind goes. So what we're doing is continuing to bring our relaxed focus into these areas as we continue breathing into the balls, exhaling out, lightly squeezing the perineum, maybe feeling little bits of sexual energy or just tingling or any sorts of sensations, heat in your pelvic floor. Just keep staying in this breath. Continuing to, in the background, just scan your body, your mind for tension, and just keep breathing into it like you're making love with it, smiling into it. Breathing in your balls, exhaling with a sigh, with a light perineum squeeze, a light Kegel. And just scanning your body and noticing any tension you're holding, sinking it all deeper into your feet. And stay in this nice circular belly breathing. Every breath, breathing into any tension, smiling into any tension, letting it all go out through the feet, sinking into deeper relaxation. In our training programs, we say, the more you relax, the more you feel. The more you feel, the more the energy moves. Continuing to stay in the devotion of the breath. If you're not feeling anything too, if you're totally numb, know that that's okay. I was the same way when I first started, but just keep staying with it. What we're doing here is tuning into the subtle sensations of the body, activating the subtle neural pathways of pleasure that exist in our bodies. And the more time we spend here building and circulating this energy, the more it spreads until we can start to have this sexual life force energy, this chi, move throughout all of our body. But it takes time. Just continue taking nice big belly breaths. Take the biggest breath you've had all week. Stay with that. Bring a big smile to the face. Big old balls expanding. Exhaling, lightly squeezing the perineum with a sigh. Relaxing. Just keep staying in that circular breath using these tools. Sinking into your feet, relaxing even more. Brothers, and this is a practice. This is just really, really, really basic tools. We're trying to just give you the most potent tools to get you started. This tool, if you just use this style of breathing, this practice of bringing a smile to your face, weirdly enough, it really just shifts the energy of the entire interaction. Breathing into the balls, exhaling with a sigh, and releasing tension as you lightly squeeze your perineum. If you can combine all of these into a little circular breathing, bring this to your self-pleasure practices by yourself, or bringing it to partnership while you're having sex when the sexual energy is building up. If you practice this, if you start to program this breath, these new neural pathways of ways of breathing, ways of moving and relaxing more, you will start to open up these abilities. Again, this is just a little gateway practice. Because, the biggest thing I'll just mention here is that our ejaculatory orgasms are a sympathetic nervous system response. They're a clenching. Or if you notice, when you have an ejaculation, your whole body clenches up, right? That's our automatic response to a spike in sexual energy. As we learn how to entrain our bodies to not have that response, to rewire it into the parasympathetic, to the relaxed state as the energy spikes up. When we're relaxed and not contracted, that's when the energy can actually move throughout our body. Again, just taking a few more breaths here. Noticing any shifts in your body, any sensations since we began this practice just maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, and just notice if there's any tingling still in your hands. Yeah, that's what it's about, brothers. So I'm going to invite us to slowly, with our next breath, slowly open up your eyes. See if you can maintain your practice, the felt sense, the breath with the eyes open now. Bridging our practices into our day-to-day life, into the space you're in. And then we're going to play this game I like to call it of just staying in the practice. Let's slowly move back to our seats, staying with the breath, staying with the feeling. Slowly coming back. Big old belly breaths, bringing that smile even as you're moving. Slightly squeezing that perineum sign. Oh. Ooh. All right. Welcome back, brothers. Hope you enjoyed that little guided practice. I'm going to switch back here to my brother, Hawks. Take her away, brother.
All right. Thank you for that practice, Ben. As Ben mentioned, these practices, we're just getting a little taste of what's inside the course, but also providing a lot of value here. This shaking that we did, if you just bring the shaking alone into your pre-sex or pre-self-cultivation practice, it will open up, as Ben mentioned, these acupressure, acupuncture meridians and channels within the body that allow the sexual energy when it starts building in arousal to actually move and circulate within our body with much more ease. And that relaxation, being amidst the stimulation and arousal, to sigh and relax and soften the body while remaining in our structure and in our form. This allows us to slow down the heart, slow down the breath, and actually really drop into that parasympathetic state where we no longer feel that need to ejaculate, and we're much more present and much more available with our partners and to the world in general. So a couple of different options of how to sprinkle those little practices into your day-to-day life using the breathing and the Kegels during lovemaking will greatly enhance the strength and potency of your erection, as well as the duration to which you can last before ejaculation. So I hope you'll put those into action and hope you enjoyed that. This is all about expanding our sexual capacity. So these practices, and especially when we pair them with semen intention, build and expand this energetic capacity within our system. And the expansion of this capacity allows us to experience sex and life in profound, transformational new ways. This is the foundation of sexual life force training. And that's what we are bringing through here. That's what we're so excited to share. It is really a full spectrum masculine embodiment recalibration where we are merging sex, heart, and purpose all into one. You no longer need to partition and separate them into different aspects of life. This can all become one where we're making love with the world in everything that we do, bringing that potency, that confidence from the bedroom into every aspect of our life to fuel our purpose and our mission and how we serve in the world.
Hallelujah. Let's go.
It's a beautiful thing. So in our training programs, we dive much deeper into the tools and the concepts in order to fully embody this. The thing is, though, information doesn't change us. It's embodiment that does. Knowledge isn't actually power, it's applied knowledge that leads to power and empowerment. So we could sit here and talk to you for hours and days, and we live in this age of information where any one of us can go onto YouTube or seek podcasts or one of the millions of books out there and absorb an insane amount of information. But if we're not putting that information into practice in our day-to-day lives, it's not going to actually facilitate change for us. And our objective at MSM and in our training programs is not just to connect you with the tools and concepts, but for you to experience firsthand the effects of these practices. And so we have a powerful system that is in place to allow each one of us to really put into practice what we are sharing.
Yeah, thanks, brother. This is one of my favorite parts of our program and what we're bringing through, and a pillar, and really what sets us apart. Because this is energetic martial arts. Like there's this idea of working out and working in, and this is working in. This is rewiring our neural system, our default mode network, our neural pathways, our autonomic nervous system responses to pleasure, to allow for greater capacity, to expand our capacity, to fill our cups until they're overflowing. But it takes effort, it takes reps. Just like working out, you can't build the muscle without doing the reps. The same is true here. So, what Hawks is speaking to is so important. Like knowledge that is not applied is useless, and we live in this age of information overload, like you talked about. And I know myself and my patterns, and a lot of the brothers we serve, most of us are stuck in a pattern of mental masturbation. And I would offer that even to you if you're watching this video right now, really check yourself. It takes a level of commitment to actually see these results. And that's what we want for you. That's what we want for every brother, is to eliminate ourselves as teachers, to put you in direct contact with your full potential of having these multi-orgasmic man experiences and being the most empowered lover that you could ever be. And the way that we do this is through systems of accountability. And this is daily. Every brother in our training program receives daily one-on-one accountability. So a concept that we cover in our training program that's on the slide here that some of you may be familiar with is what's called the observer effect. And if you're not familiar with this, I highly recommend, checking out on YouTube, like the double slit experiment and the implications of this on human psychology. But essentially, this is the idea, this is the scientific proof now that we have, that the only way patterns often shift is with an observer present, is with a witness present. And this is true if you look at therapy, for instance. It's a perfect example. Like many of us are stuck in the loops of our own thoughts and emotions and stories day in and day out. And it isn't until we go lie down on a couch with someone listening to us, with an observer, with a witness, that we can break through that pattern. And this is what our accountability process is here for at Men's Sexual Mastery. Because most of us, we can take in all this information, get all hyped up, go on like a weekend retreat or take an online course or go with a coach or a therapist and have this blast off experience and be connected to our true self. But then Monday morning comes, and Tuesday morning. And who are we when we're waking up first thing in the morning, Monday morning? How do we actually affect change in those places and start building these neural pathways as a default state of being in our 3D reality? That's what this work is all about. And I'd say that we see more change in guys through daily accountability and through those transformations, putting the rubber to the road, than we do in any access to like high level knowledge or these practices. They're great, but they must be applied. So yeah, that's why our training program provides this. Every single brother receives daily one-on-one accountability training to ensure that you have the experience of the multi-orgasmic man firsthand. And that's our objective.
Indeed. So, would you like to become a multi-orgasmic man? Would you like to be able to separate your orgasms from your ejaculations? Would you like to be able to last as long as you want in bed, be the best lover that your partner has ever had? Would you like to unlock your ability to understand and lead the feminine into profound states of union and bliss? If you'd like to attract or deepen into your magnetic partnership, if you'd like to replace porn with mind-blowing sexual experiences with or without a partner, would you like to move from energetic depletion into abundance? This is about building masculine confidence, focus, and leadership in the bedroom and in life. And if you're interested in brotherhood, as Ben was speaking to with the accountability tools that we're bringing in here, we're bringing in a lot of other stuff as well from the men's work world. Ben and I, we met through men's work, and we have both been involved in the men's work spaces for years. There's also technologies that we're bringing in from the brotherhood and from the men's work spaces that we implement into our circles and into our online trainings that is adding another layer of incredible value and community that, as Ben was speaking to, is what really helps us to implement these changes over long periods of time and to find other men that are walking a similar path, to find that group coherence and that mutual support and friendship and brotherhood that lasts for a lifetime, long beyond the duration of our course, because we have online forums and communities that are ongoing for as long as you choose to be a part of them. So if any of this sounds appealing to you, if you're already on the path and you'd like to go deeper, no matter where you are on your journey, we're here for you. And there is so much inside of our training program that we know is going to provide immense value to you. This is the most comprehensive program that either one of us has seen out there to date. And we wholeheartedly believe in the value of this, and we're so excited to bring it forward. So we're really looking forward to seeing you inside. And having you join our community and our brotherhood. So,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, Hawks, I'd love to jump in here too and just share, that what you're speaking to with brotherhood and the technology of men's work and what we've been talking about with accountability structures, with brotherhood, with mirror neurons is like this is you were alluding to this, but for guys who aren't familiar with this, like notice what's going on in your body right now as we're talking. Like again, we say like what's awakening in you is awakening in me, brother. And we're here to support you in your awakening, man, because you actually are a unique puzzle piece. The world fucking needs you, bro. It needs you aligning your sexual energy. It needs you to be the biggest fucking badass version of you conquering the world. It needs each of us in that. And we're not meant to do this alone. So if you're feeling something inside your body right now, listen to that. Listen to that and know that there are other brothers out there. This is like a radio frequency. This short video, we're sending out this message to anyone out there in the matrix who hears this right now, who feels this, who's struggling with his sexual energy. There is hope. Like we're fucking touching it. There's a whole brotherhood of brothers awakening themselves and each other together. And we can do this together and we're meant to do this together. And this is, again, a lot of the men's work codes that I feel like complete this. This isn't just this powerful distillation of all the tantric and Taoist and all these different tools that you and I have put together in our own long journeys of exploring and deepening into this path and sacred sexuality. But it's the community aspect. It is the men's work piece that has been the missing ingredient, so that we can train in this together, that we can empower one another. So I just wanted to really highlight that, man. I really appreciated you bringing that through. So, by the way, this photo here is one of our most recent men's sexual mastery immersion event. We had 21 guys here in Austin, and we have these events. These are the events that every brother who comes to our group training has a free ticket to one of these. And you can also come to one just outside of the training, but a lot of guys end up in the training from it because speaking again, full circle to these mirror neurons and to the effects, even over Zoom calls that can happen when we are all practicing together. There's this law of entrainment where, like, literally we're shifting the quantum field within us and around us and together. This is what's possible. So, again, we would love to have you, brother, if you're feeling the call.
yeah, why don't you share a little bit about what's inside some of our training programs, Ben?
Yeah. Let's jump into this. So, if you are interested, we have group training and we have one-on-one training. You can see some of the details here. We have weekly 90-minute group training calls where we all get together and there's basically teachings and group practices and laser coaching and support for guys. You also, of course, as we mentioned, have access to daily one-on-one accountability, checking in with a brother, making sure you're able to implement the practices. You have, as I mentioned, this VIP access to a one in-person immersion, 1 year access to the Men's Sexual Mastery online course, and a lifetime access to our online community, to our chat, where you can continue to get support throughout your journey. And if brothers are interested in the one-on-one training, we have a wait list for that, but that's for guys who want to get into the deep dive, the quantum timeline. We really want a customized program. Like, that is the highest value container we have. And those guys also get access to all the group training as well. So yeah, that's some of what we got here. And if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out our website, mensexualmastery.com. We have a podcast. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. You can see tons and tons of testimonials from guys who've been going through this training program. We are just in the beginning stages of this thing, and this information has been waiting to emerge for a long time. And we have this opportunity to heal the ancestral masculine pattern and what we've inherited, and really to get in right relation with our sexual energy and with the feminine. So yeah, you can check out all those testimonials of guys that have gone through this on there and on our website, as well as just tons of content helping support you in your journey. If you want to message us and check us out on Instagram, we've always got lots of guys rolling in the DMs. We'd love to engage with you there. But if you want to apply for one of our training programs, just go to our website there and you'll see there's an application link on either the elite group training or the VIP one-on-one training links. So yeah, check us out, brother. Is there anything you want to throw in here, Hawks, before we sign off?
I think you've covered it. Just really excited to see you on the inside, brothers, and to walk this path with you. This is the path of sexual and self-mastery, and it's a lifetime journey that is well worth each step along the way. So I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, brother, we'll see you inside. Send a big love to all our brothers out there. Shoo, let's go. Keep rocking it.